Welcome to the first in a series of trainings designed to assist you, a staff person providing support to individuals with disabilities, to expand and deepen your understanding of ICS, Integrated Community Supports, what it is, why we are delivering services in this way, and to provide you with strategies for success in the implementation of community integration. This series of webinars, of which this is the first one, is brought to you by the group that you see on this slide. This is a collaborative effort between several adult services managers, several habilitation supervisors, and myself, Kathy Zielinski, speech therapy manager.
Along with myself, Alicia O'Neill, speech-language pathologist for the board.
Several policy initiatives are influencing changes to the way services are delivered to individuals with developmental disabilities. I'll briefly review these here. First of all, the Olmstead decision from 1999. 2 women in the state of Georgia who had mental illness and developmental disabilities filed suit and won under the Americans with Disabilities Act to be released from their institutional setting to live and work in the community. The Olmstead decision mandates that people with disabilities have the right to receive their services in the community. The Employment First Initiative of 2012 has been adopted by 45 states, including our state of Ohio, and this initiative mandates that community employment shall be a priority and the preferred outcome for working-aged individuals with disabilities. The third federal mandate is the new CMS federal rule change of 2014. CMS stands for the Center for Medicaid Services. There are several components to this rule change. The component that's important to this discussion of community integration is that service settings must be community-based. Providers are required to offer opportunities for all individuals served to get involved in their communities. This could include community employment and/or participating in community-based events and activities. Furthermore, the opportunities offered need to be meaningful to the individual and support their personal interests and outcomes. These federal mandates have resulted in changes to the Ohio Administrative Code. New waiver rule definitions have come out recently and clearly define what is adult day support and what is vocab service. And we're going to talk about those in the next couple of slides. The new service definition from 2016 is clear in expectation for adult day support, and there are several references to community integration. It's not our intention to just read out loud to you. However, it's really important that in establishing a foundation for all of us to begin our work together about quality community integration, that we all have the same talking points. So I'm going to read this one out loud. Please bear with me. Adult day support means provision of regularly scheduled activities in a non-residential setting, such as assistance with acquisition, retention, or improvement of self-help, socialization, and adaptive skills that, okay, here's the part in red, that enhance the individual's social development and performance of daily community living. So there's a reference right there to community. Adult day support activities and environments shall be designed to foster the acquisition of skills, build community membership and independence, and expand personal choice. That's a lot of what these trainings are going to delve into, those 3 components: fostering skills, building community membership and independence, and expanding choice. Adult day support enables the individual to attain and maintain his or her maximum potential. This slide and the slide that follows are the segments of the adult day support rule that specifically address community integration. So adult day support is support to participate in community activities and build community membership consistent with the individual's interests, preferences, goals, and outcomes. Supports to develop and maintain a meaningful social life, including social skill development, which offers opportunities for personal growth, independence, and natural supports through community involvement, participation, and relationships. Supports and opportunities that increase problem-solving skills to maximize an individual's ability to participate in integrated community activities independently or with natural supports. Recreation and leisure, including supports identified in the Person-Centered Individual Service Plan, also known as the ISP, as being therapeutic in nature rather than merely providing a diversion, and/or as being necessary to assist the individual to develop and or maintain social relationships and family contacts. So certainly, community integration is not just a diversion. It's not just a trip that a group of people are taking that is primarily led by staff. It's something that is person-centered and really looking at how we can move that individual along in their skill development so that they gain more independence. They're empowered in a way that is new and different than the way we've been providing our supports in the community before. Community integration is not just an outing. It's not just a field trip or an outing with 6 to 12 people from a center going to an event or a place in the community, such as a museum or a baseball game. That's the way we've done business in the past. There's nothing inherently bad or awful about that. There has been a lot of care taken and some great experiences have been had by the individuals who've gone on those outings in the community. And that's been because of the careful choosing by staff of a place, perhaps setting things up ahead of time so that the individuals can have a very great experience, and also making sure that those folks come back safely to the center and that they've had a good time. Nothing bad about this. However, that is not truly assisting that person to be integrated into the community setting, and it's not personalized. I once heard that the difference between inclusion and integration could be likened to the party. Inclusion is being invited to the party, and integration is being asked to dance. So we can bring a whole group to a party. However, the person who gets asked to dance is being integrated with the other dancers. They're more of an active participant. And we want to help people experience the party on their own level and to be active and in their choices and in their participation. So if you take a look at this slide, this is a kind of putting everything together in a formula. When we can help individuals make personal choices for community engagement about what they're going to do during their day, their evenings, their weekends, and then coach those individuals on the skills needed to meet their desired outcomes in the community. So it's a two-step process. It's making the choice and then that individual learning some skills and mastering skills to their potential, their maximum potential possible. And that will lead to the person living the life that they choose and participating in community life when they want, with the people they want. Take a look at this video. This is a video of Mike, who's a staff person working with Mark. Mark is an individual who's chosen to do some volunteering. And Mike will talk about in this little video about the transformation he saw in Mark, the individual who's a volunteer. He saw him grow in his ability to be a leader, to speak for himself, to be more of the initiator and less of the follower. So I'll be quiet and let you listen to Mike.
When we first started doing this, I noticed that he would always want to walk behind everyone or wait for others to open the doors, wait for some kind of cue. And through this process, Mark has now found the strength to, hey, I can walk side by side or I can walk in front of other people. I don't have to wait for someone to tell me to do something. He now knows that I can walk up to someone and ask for help. I can go through this door without anyone opening it for me. I can do these things and I'm going to be okay. I remember the first time when I told Mark, today's the day I'm going to drop you off and I'll be back here to pick you up. We went through these whole scenarios and he was as excited as can be. He just was brimming from ear to ear, and that independence, that he had confidence in himself. He was just raring to go. He was ready. And I think that was the biggest growth I seen in him, was just that inner feeling of, I got this, I can do this.
Let's take a closer look at how this new way of delivering services that are individualized and based in the community are different from the way we did things before. Knowing that, again, as we said earlier, not like anything was bad, but it truly wasn't person-driven. So let's examine some of the components of community integration more closely. Take it away, Alicia.
Thanks, Kathy. When looking at the old way of delivering services, choices for activities and things to do for an individual were often made by the family or the staff, team of people involved in a person's life. They were great intentioned and ideas that people genuinely thought would improve the lives of those individuals. These old services were also facility-based. They were all focused on a trimester schedule with what was available in the center at that time. The old way of services was also focused on a large group, 5 or more individuals in a group participating in the same activity. Now, let's look at the new way of providing services. The old ways are falling away. We're now considering the person's choices a lot more heavily. When we think about the old way of delivering services, an example of not considering a person's choice may have been an exercise class. A family may have thought that an individual should attend an exercise class to help the person lose weight or be healthier. However, this may not have been that person's individual choice or interest. Another factor to consider is that we are now focusing on community-based services. We are looking to look away from the trimester schedule a little bit and see what is available in the community versus just considering what is available in the center. We're also focusing on a small group of individuals, 4 or less. We're looking away from the big group with staff leading the individuals and hoping that individuals can be in smaller groups, maybe going shopping or out to eat with just 1 friend or 2 friends, up to 4 individuals in a group.
And even taking a look at when you take out a smaller group, who within the group wants to do something different? If you're at the mall, not everybody has to go in the same store, particularly if there are 2 staff who've come along for 4 individuals. Trying to take a look at what is person A's interest versus what is person C's interest. And even in a small group, we can make things individualized. Let's delve a little deeper, old way versus new way. If you take a look at the green circles, in the past, we've provided people with occasional experiences, occasional attendance to an activity in the community or a place versus getting out there routinely and developing some skills and developing some familiarity. Staff have primarily coordinated the activity for the individual with community members, setting up the location, setting up the event so that it's successful, versus the individual being empowered to make some of that happen on their own. And the training that we've done has been primarily based on individual deficits and on fitting in. So as Alicia said, the old ways are falling away. So let's take a look at integrated community supports and what that really means. Routine attendance to gain recognition and appreciation as an active group member. An example of this would be one of the women at one of our centers who's now joined a senior women's bowling league. Instead of a large group of people from the center going bowling together, she's now a part of and recognized as a member of that bowling group. Staff acting as an initial connector to making friends and utilizing community resources. One of the participants in the original group, in the Integrated Community Supports group that we started with, created a Saints Club with church members and a volunteer. So staff started out as being that initial connector, but that individual is now forging the way, coming up with ideas, and creating events on his own with some natural supports from the church community. Skill building based on strengths, interests, contributions to the group, and social connections. There's a young lady from one of our centers who volunteers at the pet shelter. In the beginning, she waited for staff to tell her what to do. She kind of hung back, waiting for something to happen. And now she goes in on her own. She remembers to wear her special shirt for her volunteer days. She knows where the supplies are. She interacts with the staff from the shelter on her own. She's forging her own way, and all of her skills are building around her interests. And that's where she's starting to be empowered to speak for herself. You're going to see 2 very short video clips here. One is an individual, Preston, at the bowling alley, and the other is Michelle, an individual who's at the restaurant. And what's significant in these is that each of them is speaking for themselves, doing for themselves, and staff are nowhere in the picture. So sometimes we just have to hang back and wait a little bit. So just look at these clips as possibilities for the folks that you work with too.
How you doing? How many games can I get you today? Yeah. Did you need bumpers today? Yeah. Right? Did you need shoes? Yeah. What size? Yeah. 11? Need $3.
My name is Michelle. I like the table. Yeah.
Now let's take a look at another example of an individual whose life has changed since he's become more active in his community. These pictures are a little hard to see, but they're pictures of William and his girlfriend. William has been a part of the original group of ICS participants. He really didn't show much enthusiasm about the activities that he chose during the discovery and exploration phase. However, when he decided to invite his girlfriend along to join him, they started having a great time, going out to get cups of coffee or something to eat. They had such a great time that they wanted to document it and began creating a scrapbook of their adventures. William was really proud of that. And we just want to reiterate that this is an example of somebody making friends, having social connections with people in their community. So now that we've seen a few examples of just how powerful community integration can be for some individuals, what does this mean for you, the direct care support staff who are working with the individuals with disabilities every day? There are many layers to this transformation. One important layer, major part of this, is going to be raising expectations. Research has proven over and over again that having high expectations of learners actually contributes to learning. When somebody expects you to learn a skill, you are much more likely to demonstrate that skill with success than if somebody doesn't believe in you and thinks that you're not capable. Community integration is going to require staff to have this expectation that all individuals can improve their independence regardless of their previous knowledge and skill level. Staff may be seeing themselves in a new role. Rather than doing for the individual or speaking for the individual, staff can step back and let the individual try on his or her own and communicate for himself or herself to the best of their ability. It's really going to involve a shift in thinking. The staff role is to support, to coach, and to foster the individual so that the person can achieve membership in their community.
Let's hear from staff who have been working with individuals who have surprised them at their abilities and what they're accomplishing out in the community. And these staff have also spoken about their own transformation and what it means to them to be a part of this process. First of all, we're going to hear from Linda, who goes with Kim in the community, where Kim has joined a senior women's bowling league.
Kim right now at this time is going bowling, which is something that she really enjoys. With Kim's disability, this program has changed my whole outlook on it. I don't look at it as a disability. It has completely made me look at myself more than her.
I asked her what she meant by that and how this program has changed her expectations of Kim as Kim has mastered competencies in the routine of bowling. And this is what Linda had to say.
Yeah. After that, she leads the way and I follow. She goes down, she greets the ladies that she bowled with. They're seniors. They greet her back. She puts her shoes on, she slides her shoes under the table, and the conversation starts who's going to bowl first, and second, and third, and so on and so on. And we just enjoy the moment. It's like friends uniting.
I had a chance to talk with Queen, who takes two ladies weekly to a fun and fitness class at the local community center. I asked her how this program has changed her expectations of the participants, especially one who has mastered the competencies in the routine of a fitness class. And here's what Queen had to tell me.
I'm amazed. I'm really amazed at what has come out of them, because they hear they're quiet, they don't do nothing, they don't communicate, nothing like that. But now they get out, they're integrating with these people. I mean, they're actually talking with these women, they're actually exercising, you know what I'm saying? And the more and the more and more and more we go, the better and better and better. It's like Michaeline, she's like really independent now. She really don't need me just to drive her there.
Yes.
But in the beginning, I had to teach her everything, but she was so knowledgeable, and she just learned everything, and she can go in there by herself.
This graphic gives you a good overview of integrated community supports, and that at every step of the way, we are looking at how we can assist that person to be a part of their community. From the very beginning, the planning stage, discovering and exploring one's community, to choosing a routine and actually acquiring skills along the path to becoming more independent to the best of that person's ability within that routine. That's the doing. And then analyzing and reflecting how it's going, trying to include the individual if they're capable of that, or perhaps it's the staff analyzing and reflecting. All of these it's a dynamic kind of a process, and one that is always leading the person into the community. When we do analysis and reflection, we might start over with discovery again, because perhaps the person didn't like their chosen activity and it took them actually experiencing it to find that out. And then it becomes the job of staff to do more discovery. Or it might be that at that point in time, the person might have moved far enough along to be hooked up with a volunteer or community friend at that point, and they'll continue on with their activity at that level. Or the person might choose to continue to do that one activity and discover additional activities. Everything you do with the individual is somewhere along this continuum, and this is something we're going to explore more in upcoming trainings. Just giving you that big overview and also taking a look at every step of the way, the goal here, the outcome, is to have that person be involved in a much more personalized way and a much more empowered way with their community. As we stated earlier, this training is just the beginning. Our intention is for you to gain a better understanding of how community integration works and how to implement strategies with the people you support and work with. To do that, we'll be providing you with 4 more video trainings. The topics are listed on this slide. The next presentation will delve into discovery and exploration, what that means and how to get started. The one after that, I think it's really important, communication considerations and support techniques. We recognize that many of the individuals you work with can be very challenging in the area of communication. How can that person make a choice? How can we know if that choice is truly their choice? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about coaching and how to promote independence. So we'll be talking about a toolbox, ways that you can model and coach so that that person can move along in their skill development. And then finally, fading, stepping back, and working with community friends. So it doesn't always have to be you. These are all components of community integration, and we'll be looking at those in upcoming months and upcoming trainings. We thank you today for your attention, and we hope that you've learned something new.